Shalom, shalom. First off, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And I want to give a salute and salutations to the hopeful elect that's preaching on the true names of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and teaching on one accord. I want to say shalom. And today I want to just put out a lesson. I'm just flowing the spirit. Because everything that's going on right now is the spirit is very heavy on prophecy, because that's the times that we're in right now. And the Lord is manifesting this book right before our very eyes. We're witnessing the downfall of our enemy. And only the true believers that's really paying attention to prophecy is going to truly understand what's going on and truly understand and see the Lord's work. They're going to be the ones that really see, what the Lord is doing on this earth. So I'm going to start this off in Ecclesiasticus 39:1. It says, "But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and will be occupied in prophecies." And that ain't what's being taught in these Christian churches. That ain't what's being taught through, people praying to, Jesus and all this. That ain't. In these Christian churches, they don't occupy, in the ancient wisdom. They don't occupy. They damn sure don't speak about prophecy. They don't speak about any of this. They don't speak about the persecution that this devil is gonna come down with. Speaking of that, let's jump right to that. And speaking of that, we can jump right into that. And this is Revelations 12:12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time." So the Christian churches ain't talking about this devil that's about to come down having great wrath. And that wrath that's going into all the calamities that he's creating. That's going into every other week. He's saying that is some type of recall on the foods. He's attacking the foods. He's attacking everything that is the necessities for life. Because he's putting the squeeze on the people, because that's how he operates. He's operating, he operates through chaos. So he's trying to push for his new beast system, because like the scripture said, he has a short term. He's losing the grip of control on this earth. People are waking up and seeing, this man for who he is. So he got to come down with this great wrath. And what he's doing, he's trying to cause a collapse in the whole trade and market and food and food distribution throughout the whole world. So that's why it says, "Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth," because it's not just going to be in Babylon that's going to feel it. They want to. This beast system is going to be a whole one world government system that he's trying to bring, that he's trying to push. The Lord has put it in his man's mind to try to fulfill a task that he really can't fulfill, but he's going to go through with it because the Lord has hardened his heart. Verse 13, it says, "And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child. And that's just going into like this devil is saying that everything he's trying to do is gonna fail him. He's gonna, so he's gonna get frustrated and come for the true believers that's worshiping and hastening on Yahweh Shai. Those are the true believers that's trying to bring forth the man child. The man child is Yahweh Shai. He's gonna come for the true believers. Everybody else that's not a true. See, this devil, he knows the truth. He know who he have and he know who he don't have. So if you still believing in Jesus Christ, you still in these Christian churches, he already got you. You have no understanding. You don't know what's going on. You still worshiping Jesus, which they gave you through, white supremacy when he brought you over here. And the thing about it, if you don't have this truth, and this truth only comes from the heavens, it only comes from Yahweh. And if you don't have this truth, then you're gonna be tossed to and fro, believing in everything, not knowing what to believe in. This is Proverbs 14:15. It says, "The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his goings." And being prudent, that goes into really, paying attention, really going into things, not just taking everything for word, studying. And that's another thing that they really don't teach you in the Christian churches, to be prudent, to seek out your own information, to really be circumspect. Matter of fact, let me just get that in. So this is the AI overview of the word prudent. It says, acting with or showing careful, good judgment that avoids unnecessary risk. Right, so, and we prudent, the true believers are, we prudent because we're not leaning onto our own understanding. We leaning onto the scripture. We're leaning onto this word. We leaning onto Yahweh Shai. And Yahweh Shai, he comes in the spirit of prophecy and everything. And that's why we paying attention and we measuring the times. That's going into something else. Another scripture that the Lord told us to do, measuring the times. This is 2 Timothy 3:1. It says, "This also, that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce despisers of those that are good, traitors, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of Yahweh, the power." And that's like the times that we're in right now, man. It's like, it's just, you could feel this a spirit of just heaviness, in this place spiritually, in this place America, which is Babylon the Great, spiritual Egypt, You know, you could feel the heaviness because, you know, the scripture says that the people are gonna be just like the leaders, and we got a wicked, we under a wicked system. You know, so it's gonna the people are gonna be just like their leaders. You know, we in a, and that's just and this devil has corrupted the whole world. That's why the wrath that's coming to America is going to be so great, because this is like the root of all the wickedness throughout the whole world coming from this place right here. America has been used, you know, for the wicked for a long time. I mean, they've been using America to spread their wickedness and their agenda throughout the whole earth. You know, and when we talk about we're going into the wickedness in high places. We're going into those, you know, the chief nations of Esau, you know, that's running the world, that's in these high places, which we call like the Illuminati, these families that you don't see, that's behind the scenes, that's running everything. Get that. This is Ephesians 6:12. It says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." Yeah, and that's going into the Illuminati and all the, you know, and Illuminati just means bearing light, you know, so they bearing light, but they bearing light on the left-hand side. You know, like we in this truth and this understanding, we following the light too. But we following the light on the right-hand side. You know, we following Yahweh Shah, which is our guiding light. This is John 8:12. This is Yahweh Shah speaking. He said, "Then spake Yahweh Shah again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that follow me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life." You know, so Lord is telling you this. He is the only way. He is the light of this world. If you're not following Yahweh Shah, then you stuck in the darkness of the rulers of this world. And the rulers of this world, they the ones that's running this world. So if the Lord ain't tapping to you and wake you up to bring you out of darkness, then consider yourself still in darkness, still under the rule and the influence of the darkness of the powers of this world. You know, and that's the thing. This great purge that's coming to this earth. It ain't necessary. It ain't just all of this is the Lord doing it. You know, because the Lord is using this devil Esau and everything, but it's all the Lord doing. You know, so this is really a purge from the Lord. He's about to get rid of. You know, it's only for the hopeful elect this time around. You know, he's about to get rid of everyone, you know, that he doesn't want, you know, just to make it plain and simple. Like, if the Lord don't want you, then, you know, ain't nothing you can do about it. You know, and that's the thing. You know, you got people that think they're woke, see what's going on, They trying to prep and everything carnally, thinking that, by whether they store up on water, on food, canned goods and everything, or they got weapons, they think that they leaning on that for their salvation. Salvation alone is just coming through Yahushua. And Yahushua, he says he's doing the will of the Father. So whoever the Father say be to be saved, that's who's going to be saved. Just like Yahushua, he don't even know the day when he's going to return. He's waiting on the word from Yahweh. This is Matthew 13 and 16. It says, "But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your eyes, for they hear." And that's speaking on to blessed are they that can receive this and can see what's going on, and they receive the truth that's coming through this word, that's coming out of this Bible, that really can see. So blessed are your eyes, because you can see what's going on. Blessed are your ears. You see it, you can read it, and you get understanding. Verse 17, it says, "For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye heard, and have not heard them. Hear ye therefore the parables," and it's going into the parables of the sower, because this truth and this understanding is not something that you can obtain by your own doing. You can't just go to a library or just lock yourself up, in a room and just seek out a whole bunch of information and jump down a whole bunch of rabbit holes and think that you're going to come into this truth. It don't work that way. You just can't, wake up one day and say, "I'm about to give my life over to the Lord," and think that you're going to get all of this understanding. It don't work that way. That's why it says, "Blessed are you," because it's a blessing. That's a gift right there. That ain't nothing that you did by your own carnal means to gain this blessing. That's the Lord showing mercy and grace upon you. Just like, every brother that, that came into this truth. We was once living in the land of in the walking dead. We was walking amongst the dead. We was out here with no understanding. And, me speaking for myself, it wasn't anything that I done, personally that, I can get a blueprint. Oh, yeah, if you do this and you do that, you can, that ain't nothing that I done. So that's why, having this truth, having this understanding, despite whatever goes on in it, on this earth, on this side, we still considered blessed. We might be catching hell, but the thing about us, our hell, we have the light, so we see the end of the tunnel. We understand the outcome of all of this. So that's why a lot of times that when we are catching hell, like the scripture say, we need to take it cheerfully. You know, we need to take it cheerfully. This is not our rest. That we not supposed to here to be comfortable right now. We're not supposed to be on right now living in leisure and just having everything going our way, because this is not our rest. The Yahweh Shah said he come that we may have life and life more abundantly. Yahweh Shah hasn't came yet. That's why if you the true believers are hastening the return of Yahweh Shah. We spiritually vexed in this place. But we understand that, this is the conditions of the battle. So we take it on cheerfully. We the brotherhood that's why it's so important. We motivate each other. And this is what motivates us when we wake up and we read headlines and we see prophecy taking place. That's what motivates us. That's what brings a joy to our heart. Because we understand that this is almost up. It's over. It ain't no going back. This it's up, man. We just like I just heard a brother doing a lesson about how Canada is now threatening the United States of cutting the power. So, America is being threatened, on all fronts of some type of power collapse, or some type of power disruption. They already been speaking about how we might go into like 8 months of power outage, but it could be all staged and everything, because it's still, on this devil agenda to collapse the whole, this whole world. And I ain't even just saying America, because once America stop, merchants across the whole world is gonna stop. The travel of goods and everything. So this is not just something that's designated to America, but that is in these elites' agenda to collapse America, though. So and they know, like I had brought out before, they have a short. They know that they're losing control. They understand scripture. They understand what's going on. This is their last chance of them holding on to their power. So them achieving this beast system is them achieving life, their life eternally, and their forever life, just like we're hastening the return of Yahweh Shah and to receive the new body. This is this devil play on achieving the blessing. This is his play on taking back the blessing. So he's about to give it all he got, because he don't really got nothing else left to do. This is a do or die situation for Esau right now. And this time around, the Lord is not with him. But I'm going to end it on that. I hope you was edified. So till the next time, I'm going to say shalom.